Welcome back to Same But Different, the show that nobody asked for, where we talk movies, TV, entertainment, and all sorts of other stuff. My name is Brody, and over here we have...
Derek, back from vacation.
Yeah, he is. He actually just did a trailer review for the new, or reaction rather, for the new Flash trailer. So check that out too. Today we are coming at you with a shorter video. We wanted to review one of our favorite film franchises ever. Came out with a new installment. If you click this video, you already know what it is. It is Evil Dead Rise, baby.
Evil Dead Rise. I'm so excited. I'm showing off my Ash Williams figure.
Oh, okay.
And I also have my VHS copy of Evil Dead.
Oh,
the collector's edition.
Very nice. I don't have anything. I was trying to draw a picture, but that's an envelope and I don't know what's in it. So we just saw the movie last night. We had to wait a little bit because Derek was on vacation and we really wanted to see this one together. But hopefully that's given all of you enough time to see this movie so you can click this and not worry. Although we are going to try something different. We are going to talk no spoilers for the first bit of this review. We will get to a point where we say, spoilers, shut this off if you haven't seen it, and then leave.
And if you want and you haven't seen the movie, listen in now, pause it, go watch the movie, then come back and watch the rest of the video to see if our thoughts align.
While you're sitting in the theater, watch the first few minutes of this really loud so everyone's like, what does he watch? That sounds so good. And then pause it. And then as soon as the credits roll, hit play again.
Exactly. Yeah. Tell everybody you don't know what you're watching.
Yeah.
And of course, if you like what kind of content you're about to get into and you know our stuff, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and spread the word. Tell your friends, because we want a big, huge community of movie lovers to come together and talk movies with us. So
yeah, my goal is to rent out a theater and we can invite all of our friends to come to a movie and we know everybody in that theater. That'd be pretty cool.
That's actually a pretty cool goal.
I just thought of it right now as I was speaking. I was forming as I was talking, but that's okay.
Nice.
All right, let's get into the first bit of this review. We are going to, again, no spoilers for the first little bit. We're just going to talk about the film, you know, as a film.
Evil Dead Rise.
Oh, I liked that.
I'm going to swallow your soul.
Oh, no. Oh, spooky stuff.
Okay, initial thoughts. Amazing. I was so giddy and so smiley after watching this film. As we've explained, we are both huge fans of this franchise, and this had a big expectation to live up to because 2013's Evil Dead was a pretty good modern day retelling sequel, requel kind of story. And there are other random shoes to fill that Sam Raimi started off with. So there are just a lot of fine lines that this movie had to walk, and it walked them all with confidence. The silliness, the campiness, the gore, the darkness, it all came together and melded very nicely. And I very much appreciated this movie for what it was.
It's amazing that like our two favorite modern horror franchises are kind of doing the same thing, where with Scream as well. These new ones are coming out and they're so different, but they're holding on to so much of the same but different, that it just works. It just works. It was amazing. It did grab a little more of the hokiness, the tackiness from the original franchise that 2013 kind of left out. I need to sit with it for a little bit longer or see it again before I decide 2013 or this one. I don't know. I loved this movie.
That's a tough battle.
It depends what you're looking for, because this one definitely doesn't take itself as seriously. The other one does. So the other one is more of like a remake, whereas this one is more of like a requel, I would say, which is weird.
And a huge homage to Sam Raimi.
Oh my gosh. You would have sworn Sam Raimi was directing this at some points.
Fun fact, I don't know if you knew this, but this movie was originally planned to be straight to streaming HBO Max.
I know.
It did so well at screenings that they're just like, okay, we gotta theatrically release this.
It's crazy to me because they made so much money. Imagine the money they would have lost if they released this on HBO. I mean, I don't know the actors. I knew the girl's name last night after the credits, the main character, and now I forget it again. Jane Sullivan? Or no, that's Jane Levy. Something Sullivan. Lily Sullivan.
Lily.
You know, if you don't know the premise, she is the sister to the mom, and the mom is the one who owns this apartment building and has 3 kids. And that's
she owns the building.
Owns that apartment room. What's an apartment? You can have buildings inside of buildings. Those are your core 5, and they're all wonderful. They're all so good, and the mom is great. And then, no spoilers, this is the plot. You've seen the trailer. You don't get enough of the mom as the mom, because pretty quickly, that's the, antagonist. We won't go into anything else that happens, except that everyone does a great job. The kids are great. It's awesome to see, actual teenagers or younger. The little girl's like 6 in a movie like this, because Evil Dead specifically has never gone that route. Even when they were supposed to be 18, they were like 30, right? So it was cool to see. It was cool to see. They all did a great job, and I cared about them all.
Yes, I cared about every single character. You're right in the fact that I don't think we got too much of the mom when she wasn't possessed. However, I liked her acting a lot more when she was the Deadite than when she was the mom, because her acting as the mom was kind of bland to me. Ooh. So I was kind of just sitting there waiting for her to become the Deadite, because her acting has been praised across all sorts of reviews. When it was just human form, I was like, this is fine.
Yeah.
But then when it became Deadite, she blew me out of the water.
Mommy's with the maggots now.
Yeah. The kids did a wonderful job. Even the smallest one, which is always a gamble with young actors, she killed it. And yeah, Lily Sullivan.
We'll get it one day.
She was fantastic as the wayward sister who doesn't really have her life together, forced into a situation where she has to become the leader. That to me was incredible. She goes to her sisters. Her sister's the one that has it all together. She has the family, she has the apartment, she has the job, but her sister is the one that gets possessed. So now Beth has to be the one to pull up her bootstraps and take control and be the leader and step into her sister's shoes, so to speak. So I think that was a really cool complex character thing. Yeah.
And does she fail? Does she succeed? I don't know. We're not going to talk about it yet.
And then, the neighbors in the hall, they were just, I whispered to Brody at one point in the movie, just cannon fodder.
It was really funny. And
because they serve literally no purpose other than to die.
And again, maybe you could consider that a spoiler, but they're not. If you've ever watched a horror movie, it's no surprise. It should be no surprise.
You know what you're getting into. Yeah. And these characters have no significance other than, like, I don't know, the one guy saying, like, oh, I have a shotgun. Like, oh, thanks for letting us know that. That's great.
Foreshadowing, Frank.
Let's move on. Let's talk about the story, the plot.
So Ellie is the mom in this situation. She is the owner of the apartment where she lives with her 3 kids. Her sister, Beth, is the, I would say, star protagonist of this movie, is down on hard times, going through the ringer, decides to come visit. But essentially, it's this little family reunion, and they get stuck in that apartment building for the majority of this movie. That's the plot. I mean, there's nothing crazy about the plot, really. That's it. But it's cool. An isolated incident is always works well for these sorts of movies.
I agree. I'm glad, sequels have that problem of going bigger and better and bloodier. Well, better is not a problem, but you know what I mean? Biting off more than they can chew, if I can use that phrase for this movie. Yeah, sequels have a problem by doing that. This one, reel it back a little bit. They stayed contained, like you said, in this apartment complex, and it worked. It worked so well for this movie. If ever they decide to go bigger and better, I worry. Because so far up until now, I mean, Army of Darkness went bigger and better.
That's a different movie.
But it's a different movie, yeah. But Evil Dead 1, 2, Evil Dead 2013, and now Evil Dead Rise, they're all contained.
Because this one takes place in the city, it was supposed to be the next big chapter. I was worried, but they went to the city and just stayed inside anyway, which worked so well.
They found the Book of the Dead in the apartment complex somewhere, and obviously this is what happens in every Evil Dead movie. Someone reads from it and shit happens. Like, that's just the plot.
No, the amount of times we've heard that priest's story but never seen it.
I know. We get a little bit of it in 2013, like the opening where there's people in the basement sacrificing their daughter or something like that. Moving on, let's talk about the effects real quick. The effects were incredible. I couldn't tell if there was CGI used in the film where it was used. You know what I mean? Like, if there was ever a stunt or something that clearly you have to use CGI in order to get it across, it looked real enough to me to believe it. When it wasn't CGI and they were using physical effects, it was incredible because of the amount of blood they used, of the amount of gore they used. I am always so interested in that sort of thing. So it wasn't as gory, as brutal as the 2013 Evil Dead. However, it was still very gratuitous, and I liked it. So there we go.
It was indeed. I know. I've been laughing about this because one of the first things Derek said was like, that was kind of toned down from the violence and the gore. And that's a bizarre thing to think after watching this movie because there is so much violence and gore. But also, he's right. When you compare the two, 2013's was just so unhinged. This is a little more toned down. There are some scenes that will make your jaw drop and make you... But... 2013's did it more. And I don't know, I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just the fact.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if they ever release some sort of behind the scenes to see actually which was practical. Because I'm often blown away when news comes out and be like, this was actually a practical effect. I'm like, no way.
Spoilers start now.
Right now. Pause the video, go outside and play, and go see the movie, and then come back and watch the spoiler section.
Woo!
Let's get into the nitty gritty, the meat and potatoes. The opening title sequence, rising above the trees over the lake, and you see the title reflected in the water. What a beautiful opening.
I think, and I said this when it happened, I think it might be my favorite title card of all time. And horror movies are so good at it. Something happens and like it just pops out on screen so big and large. Like I don't know, but this one, woo, it's a good one.
It's very good because it's not something that pops up. It's big, but it slowly creeps up as she rises out of the water. It's beautiful.
Yeah, the Evil Dead rises.
Yeah, it's so poetic and perfect.
Yeah.
Beth, she's a guitar technician for a band. Clearly doesn't make enough money to live properly because the artist isn't making that much money and they pay her, right? So she takes a pregnancy test. And that causes, we don't see the result at that point, but that causes her to be like, you know what, I need to go visit my sister and ask for her help. You kind of figure that it might be a positive result, but it's not told until later that it is.
It certainly grips you immediately with the opening of the cottage and everything like that. And then all that plays out. Some pretty wild stuff happens. And then after the title card, it says one day earlier. And that's rare. And then you open up on this story about nobody who was at the cottage. So it's an interesting, how does this fit into this at all? And it does, ultimately.
And then all of a sudden an earthquake happens. Now, I'm not entirely sure if the earthquake is paranormal or it's just naturally, conveniently happens at that time. But it happens, cracks open the floor, they go down, they find the Necronomicon in some like ancient crypt that's like in a bank. Find the records, play the records read the words, and the Deadites are released on this family.
See, I always think, since I've seen Cabin in the Woods, I always assume with these sorts of movies, someone made that earthquake happen because they didn't find the book yet, you know? Someone's watching through the garage cameras, and they're like, these kids aren't finding it. Cue the earthquake! And, like, that's, in my mind, every one of these movies now plays out like Cabin in the Woods. That shattered my mirror of what these kinds of movies are, but I love it. They go upstairs, they read the Necronomicon, or rather, the record reads the Necronomicon. Then the mom gets attacked in the elevator, mirroring what, the trees and the vines in the first one. Attacked by electrical wires in the elevator that break all of her limbs. She gets possessed, and here we are.
Boom. Here we are. And, I mean, we're not going to go play by play, but there's your setup. The cheese grater. It's not a kill, but, like, that scene fucking rocked me, man.
Yeah.
I've never seen a cheese grater used the way they used it in this movie. Just watching her maneuver around the apartment, climb on the walls, rise out of the bathtub, bang on the doors. Like, it was all so perfect and creepy. There are so many homages to the previous films, specifically the Evil Dead 1 and 2 films. She says, "I'll swallow your soul," and then they start chanting "Dead by Dawn" at the end of the movie. Yeah. And her being locked behind the door is similar to the original Deadite being locked in the cellar.
Okay. I just want to quickly praise, we've seen the movie, we're in the spoiler part. That little girl was like the best part of the movie, in my opinion. And I know this seems baffling, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around how, but it's just something I've never seen before. Not this little girl wasn't like, you know, the little kids in Signs where they're just like, help me, rescue me. She was a major pivotal part of this. She got the coolest kill in the movie, and she was a final girl by the end of it. And I've never seen that before. With her little, you know, doll staff that she calls Staffany, gets backed into a corner when her sister's charging her. She holds up Staffany and her sister runs right through it. Pull through the mouth, head, face, all of it, dead. She's the only one in this movie who still wasn't dead. She could have come back from it. So she actually did murder her sister. That's wild.
Whoopsies.
That's wild. All the little parallels throughout, like Derek was saying, all the way up until they made it rain blood for the finale, which is so cool.
Yeah.
It's inside, but they still made it happen logically, and that one was your throwback for Evil Dead 2013.
Just think chainsaw plus wood chipper equals that much blood. All the Evil Dead movies, we have the cameo of the car from the
yeah. Was it in the garage somewhere?
It was not in this movie. However, what the director did specifically was give the chainsaw at the end the color scheme of the car. He came out and said that. And then
just put the car in.
Yeah, I know. It was a garage. Like, why not?
You're right. Yeah, it's like the most logical spot.
There's a little Easter egg of Ash Williams on the record player saying, "Destroy it. It's called the Book of the Dead for a reason," or something like that. It is Bruce Campbell as Ash Williams. Where do you think we're going from here? Let's speculate.
I didn't necessarily have too many ideas, other than I'd like to see them finally do an actual sequel. Evil Dead 2 was like a remake / sequel. It was weird.
Yeah.
Army of Darkness was a different movie. Evil Dead 2013 was a requel. This one is just another story. For once, I would like to see the next Evil Dead to actually star Beth and this little girl again. Actually give me a follow-up to their story, because they both survived. Yeah. And then much like, Jane Levy 2013, she said she doesn't want to come back, but she survived, and then she's gone. Ash survived the end of his, and he's gone. Like, just give me the characters back. That's all I have to say for sure.
Well, you watched Ash vs. Evil Dead. That is a proper continuation of Ash's storyline from Evil Dead 1, 2, and Army of Darkness.
That is true.
So I just want Ash Williams to somehow be incorporated with this new generation of Evil Dead. And I think they're going to give it to us. Now that they've confirmed there's 3 Necronomicon books. The one from the Evil Dead series. We have the Necronomicon from Evil Dead 2013. And now we have this new Necronomicon in this Evil Dead Rise movie. And I just want all of them to come together, each of them holding their own Necronomicon, and be like, let's fucking do this. And somehow defeat the main evil and stop it. Or maybe the evil wins and takes over the world and we get a Cabin in the Woods ending. I don't know. Maybe not beat it, but like for this generation, lock it away so we never see it again. You know what I mean? Like some sort of permanence, but not permanent.
Right. Well, what if time travel is what gets introduced in this next one, and they send it back in time, and the ending scene is them finding it in the cabin at the beginning of the first movie?
Brody.
You like that?
That would be so cool. 2 things I want. I want a finale sequel that ultimately leads to them now traveling back in time and putting the books where they belong. Now I want a prequel to see how the books got where they go. I guess they could do both in one movie.
Yeah, maybe they put the books where they go when they travel through time, because they realize they have to stay in that circle of time. Otherwise, demon gets mad. We have to destroy it. They're like, we can't destroy it. We have to make sure it happens again. And they go back and put it there because that's where they found it. I don't know.
I'm rating it I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Only because, and I told you this, there are 2 deaths in the movie that are kind of lame. There's one death where a guy chokes on an eyeball, and then 2, there's a death that happens completely off screen. And in an Evil Dead movie, I want to see all of it. And I felt cheated in that regard.
I am pretty close to that. In my mind, the 2013 one is an 8 out of 10. And I haven't decided which one's better or where I rank them yet. So I'm just going to give this one an 8 out of 10 as well.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
It's certainly
Let's
not
do a marathon and figure it out.
Okay. All right.
If you've seen the movie, comment below. Let us know what you thought about the movie. Rate it. Give us all your thoughts. We would love to hear them. And if you liked our review and you want to hear more, like the video, subscribe to our channel. We would love you forever for it.
And ever.
This has been Same But Different, doing a new movie review. Stay tuned for Monday when we finale our apocalyptic April on May 1st.
Yep.
with a boy and his dog.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. Thank you all for hanging out. Yeah, we'll see you in a couple days, and keep your eyes open for all of those shorts that we put out through the weeks. And we'll talk to you soon.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
I'm going to swallow your soul.
Oh, no. Oh, spooky stuff.